Okay, welcome back, PlayBASIC coders. This is a follow-up to what we were talking about doing searching on the website. Here we're looking at, well, I'll show you some actual results of the search. Here I've tried the term search collision with a typo, and what's happening is it's returning all of the articles that have sprite in them. So it's an exact match of that keyword. That word appears in these articles, but none of the documents have this word because I know that doesn't exist. That's why I've used it. So in other words, that's not very useful. You know, if you're typing something in, it's not quite right. You should get a result though, I would have thought. So I went back to the drawing board today and I thought, well, let's have something that ranks words that are on their proximity to other words, how similar they are. And here's what I've come up with. And it seems to work okay actually. So I'm using sprite as the first term, and we'll see that sprites is roughly an 85% match, but sprite is a 100% match, which is good, which it should be. Sprite quantity gets bundled in as well, sprite image, sprite here, and they're less perfect. They're further away from what we search for. Sprite overlap, sprite collision, 40% all the way through. I think that's about the lowest one, really, isn't it? There's nothing that's really low, which is good. It does actually eliminate things that were below, I think it was 10%. In the routine to do that, and collision's the same thing there. So I've deliberately spelled this wrong. I've missed an I because I want to make sure that if you're, typing away quickly, you want to have it return something and be a bit like your average search engine, where it will give you sort of, did you mean such and such? That's what this is doing, without saying, did you mean such and such? So here it's ranking this keyword collision, which does appear in the documentation, with our search keyword as an 88% match. So in other words, what will happen when I piece all these parts together tomorrow, it will give each result a score, and it'll use this percentage to scale that return score. So the higher these scores, so in this case here, all of the articles that are in sprite, that sprite is mentioned with, and all the articles that are mentioned with collision, they'll have, out of a 200% allocation, they would be the ones that would be given 188%. So they would appear in the first results first, and then as we go through, we should get the less important results down below. Now, some of those articles will be shared. Articles that collisions is where that keyword appears and sprite appears, there'll be articles where they overlap, so they'll cancel each other out. And the ones here that are less likely, like considerables got through, but it's a very low probability. So even if you went through and searched all the way through, and there's conservatively there as well, they get through because they share the same characters. That's why they're getting through. So the smaller the word, the more likely it will overlap other words that are not really that similar to the one that you're actually looking for. Yeah, anyway, so the idea will be to use these to rank the results as they come back. So even if you don't type the word correctly, or you don't use the word exactly as it appears in the documentation, we should get something returning back to the user. That's what I want to make sure we get to. That's all. All right, dudes, I'm going to bed. I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.